At first, they couldn't stop complimenting you. You're such a fast learner. You're a breath of fresh air to the team. You're going places, and you believe them. You worked hard, stayed humble, brought ideas to the table. You weren't trying to outshine anyone, just doing your job the best you could. But then, everything changed. The tone shifted. The compliments turned into cold silences. Your suggestions were suddenly too much. You noticed the eye rolls, the backhanded comments, the subtle exclusion. You wondered if you did something wrong. You tried to work harder, be quieter, please them again. But no matter what you did, it only got worse. If that sounds familiar, if you've ever felt punished simply for being good at what you do, you're not alone. And no, you're not imagining it. In this video, we'll talk about why narcissists in the workplace often praise you, only to later resent your success. Stay with me until the end. This might help you make sense of what you've been through, and remind you that your light is not the problem. 1. The love bombing phase. It often starts beautifully. You join a new workplace, full of enthusiasm and ideas. Then there's that one colleague, maybe it's your manager, maybe a teammate, who singles you out with overwhelming praise. You're a star. Finally, someone who gets it. You're going to go far here. They seem genuinely impressed. You feel seen, validated, even lucky to be in such a supportive environment. You think, maybe I found the right place, the right people. But this stage, what psychologists often refer to as love bombing, isn't always about support. Sometimes it's about control. Narcissists use praise like a fisherman uses bait. They reel you in with charm, warmth, and admiration, not because they truly value you, but because they want to keep you close, dependent, and emotionally invested in their approval. This early praise isn't a celebration of your talent. It's a setup, a test. They want to see how much influence they can have over you. And when they realize you're competent, capable, and most threatening of all, independent, the mask begins to slip. 2. The moment you shine too bright. At some point, your hard work begins to speak for itself. You lead a successful project. You get recognized by senior leadership. People start coming to you for advice or ideas. You're not competing. You're just doing what you're good at. But to the narcissist, your success doesn't feel inspiring. It feels threatening. You've stepped out of their shadow. And worse, you're now a mirror, reflecting back everything they feel they lack. To someone with narcissistic traits, admiration is a limited resource. If you're getting it, it means they're not. They live in a world of scarcity, emotionally, mentally, psychologically. And your light, instead of being something they celebrate, becomes a spotlight they resent. 3. From praise to punishment. The shift can be subtle at first. Maybe they stop responding to your emails. Maybe they leave you out of meetings they used to include you in. You start noticing sarcastic comments in group settings. Things that sound like jokes, but land like daggers. She's the favorite now. I guess some people have to show off every time. Or, not everything has to be a performance. You're confused. What changed? You try to win them back. You downplay your wins. You give them credit. You laugh along at their jokes, even when they hurt. But the more you shrink yourself, the more they punish you. Because now, they know they can manipulate your behavior. They've seen your need for harmony, your tendency to self-blame, your empathy, and they're using it against you. What began as admiration has curdled into resentment. And that resentment is often quiet, calculated, and cruel. 4. Why narcissists can't stand to share the spotlight. Narcissistic personality disorder isn't just about being arrogant or self-absorbed. It's a deep, unstable sense of identity that depends on constant validation. People with high narcissistic traits often need to feel superior to others to maintain their self-worth. They're addicted to admiration and allergic to feeling less than. So, when someone else, especially someone they once supported, begins to shine brighter than them, it triggers deep insecurity. They feel exposed, irrelevant, replaceable. Instead of confronting those feelings, they lash out, not always aggressively, but manipulatively. They discredit your success, undermine your reputation, reframe your strengths as flaws. She's too ambitious. He's always trying to be the center of attention. They're not a team player. They twist the narrative to paint themselves as the victim, and you as the one who betrayed them. 5. The smear campaign and social isolation. Here's where it gets dangerous. Narcissists are often skilled at impression management. They can be charming, persuasive, and well-liked, especially by people who don't know them deeply. So when they start turning others against you, it can be subtle and hard to prove. They might say things like, "I'm worried about her. She seems really stressed. I don't know if we can trust him with that kind of responsibility. Just be careful." Sometimes she takes things too personally. And just like that, the room gets colder. People stop including you in group chats. Your ideas are no longer acknowledged. Your credibility is slowly eroded, without you even realizing why. This is not a coincidence. It's a tactic. The narcissist can't compete with your competence, so they target your reputation. They isolate you, professionally and emotionally, hoping that your confidence will collapse under the weight of confusion and loneliness. And sometimes it works. 6. The internal collapse, self-doubt and burnout. After weeks or months of this dynamic, you might start questioning everything. Did I say too much? Was I being arrogant? Maybe I should have kept a lower profile. Maybe it is my fault. This is the trap. The narcissist doesn't just want to sabotage your work. They want you to self-destruct, because then they don't have to lift a finger. You'll do it for them. You begin to withdraw. You second-guess every email, every comment, every meeting. You walk on eggshells, trying not to provoke another wave of subtle hostility. Your creativity dries up. Your joy fades. Your nervous system is constantly on high alert. You might even start to believe you're the toxic one. But here's the truth. You are not the problem. You're the projection screen. And everything they hate about themselves, they're trying to project onto you. 7. This is a pattern, not a personal failing. What makes this so difficult is that it often feels personal. And that's exactly how narcissists want you to feel. But this isn't just about you. It's a pattern, one that plays out again and again in narcissistic workplaces, friendships, and even families. They praise, they pull you in, they build you up, only to break you down when you start to outgrow them. Because they don't want equals. They want admirers. They want control. And when that control slips, when you no longer need their approval, when others start to see your light, they retaliate. Not because you've done something wrong, but because you've done something right. 1. You're not the problem. They are. If you've made it this far, I want you to hear this clearly. You're not too much. You're not too ambitious. You're not overreacting. You were simply becoming who you were always meant to be. And that made someone with a fragile ego feel threatened. The truth is, narcissists don't hate your light. They hate that they can't control it. They don't hate your success. They hate that it reminds them of everything they're insecure about. They don't turn against you because you did something wrong. They turn against you because you started to realize you didn't need them. That's the real threat. 2. You didn't deserve the backlash. You didn't ask to be dragged into a silent war. You didn't ask to be punished for being good at your job, for being kind, for being consistent. You didn't provoke the smear campaigns, the cold shoulders, the sabotage. You were simply doing what you were hired to do. And you were doing it well. But in toxic, narcissistic environments, excellence is dangerous because it exposes mediocrity, because it reminds insecure people that they're not the center of attention. Let me say it again, for the part of you that still doubts it. You didn't deserve what happened to you. 3. Step 1 of healing. Awareness is power. It starts with awareness. When you can name what happened, when you recognize the narcissistic patterns, you begin to take your power back. You stop internalizing their projections. You stop carrying their shame as if it were yours. You stop shrinking to fit into places that were never safe for you. This isn't just about blaming others. It's about freeing yourself from the cycle. When you understand the dynamic, you can begin to step out of it. And that alone is powerful. 4. What you can do now. Setting boundaries and rebuilding. So what now? What can you do when you realize you're in a workplace like this? Or when you're recovering from one? Here are a few small but powerful steps. Small blue diamond document everything. When things start to feel off, when you sense sabotage, exclusion, or passive-aggressive behavior, document it. Keep emails. Take notes. Save dates. This isn't about revenge. It's about protecting yourself. Small blue diamond don't play the game. Narcissists want you to react. They feed on your defensiveness, your confusion, your need to explain yourself. When you stop engaging emotionally, you take away their fuel. Stay grounded. Stay professional. Don't give them what they want. Small blue diamonds set boundaries, even if they don't like them. It's okay to say no. It's okay to walk away from manipulative conversations. It's okay to protect your time, your energy, and your peace. You don't owe anyone unlimited access to you, especially not someone who uses that access to harm you. Small blue diamond build a safe support system. Find people, even just 1 or 2, who believe you, validate you, and remind you of who you are. Whether it's friends, a therapist, a mentor, or a support group, connection is part of the healing. You weren't meant to go through this alone. 5. You deserve to shine without apologizing for it. If you've ever dimmed your light to make someone else comfortable, if you've ever held back your ideas out of fear of retaliation, if you've ever tried to be less just to keep the peace, I want you to know something. You never have to do that again. You were not created to play small. Your gifts, your mind, your passion, they exist for a reason. And anyone who tries to make you feel guilty for those things is not your people. Your light is not too bright. It's just shining in the wrong direction. The right people, the right team, the right mentors, the right community will not only celebrate you, they will grow with you. They will not punish your growth. They will rise with it. 6. Final words of encouragement. You may have walked through betrayal, confusion, and emotional exhaustion, but none of that defines you. What defines you is the fact that you kept going, that you're still standing, that you're here, right now, choosing to learn, to heal, and to move forward with clarity. And that's strength. You don't have to apologize for your light. You don't have to shrink for people who fear their own shadow. You don't have to stay where you're only tolerated. You are allowed to grow, to shine, to take up space, to speak, to lead, to walk away from what no longer serves you, and toward what finally does. So keep shining, not for their approval, not for validation, but because it's who you are. And you don't owe anyone your silence just to make them comfortable in their insecurity. Let them be uncomfortable. Let them sit with their shadows. You were made for light.